going around the pump. Oh, this is just the beginning part of it.
Still starting already.
Right?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the adventures of
Sam?
and Jennifer.
Hey.
Alrighty, so we do have a little bit of a special audience, as you guys can kind of see. We have our friend Jim that he'll be coming over in a minute, but my mom here is going to do a full-on introduction of Jim and his bike.
We have something really special today.
Oh yeah, this is not a normal bike. It might look like it's fuel injected and all that, but this bike is fully modified and it's carbureted.
Super special. Yep. Hey Jim, why don't you come on over and we'll get started. So this is my friend Jim,
Hello, everyone.
and this is his bike. He's going to tell us a little bit about it. What year is it?
This is a 2006 Sportster. It was originally an 883. It's been modified to a 1200.
Awesome. So what all have you done to it?
Well, basically the engine is almost all stock except for the carburation, the exhaust, and the cams. It's got cams in it. They're Screaming Eagle Y28 cams. The exhaust is 2-in-1.
Tell us about that exhaust. I understand you can't get it anymore.
No, you can't get that exhaust. When I bought that exhaust, 2008, it was $170, Cal Custom exhaust. And the reason I bought it, before I had this exhaust, I had a Thunderheader on it. And the Thunderheader was a beautiful sound. But it was about 4 or 5 inches longer, and it wasn't upswept. This, as you can see, this exhaust kind of comes up a little bit. So I had a friend in my riding group that I had at the time. He used to call me NASCAR. I said, finally, after probably a half a dozen times, I said, dude, why do you keep calling me NASCAR? He said, because they only turn left too.
Oh my gosh.
Because every time I tried to turn right on this thing, it'd be. So I said, oh, okay, gotcha. And yeah, it is a pain in the butt. It was a beautiful sound, like I said, but it just wasn't working. So I found this one, which is upswept, which I can turn and make it. You could feel some scraping on the bottom of this one as well, but I get a lot more angle for the turns with this one. So. But you can't get them anymore. And,
That's pretty crazy. You can't even buy exhaust for less than $800-900 nowadays
No.
either.
No, like I said, that was 2008 that I got this.
Yeah.
And probably maybe 13, 14, I was going to try and go ahead and replace this. And they didn't make this anymore. And I found out at that time, it was $500-600 for an exhaust. And this one, it wasn't that it was bad, it doesn't have any holes in it.
Yeah.
I was going to just replace it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
couldn't replace it. They don't
Yeah.
make it anymore.
So you got some really cool stuff on here. Other than that, you got your own stereo system put into it.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty interesting. So what kind of speakers is that?
Every speaker on here is a DS18. extremely loud.
Extremely loud.
Yeah, because they have a wattage rating of 175 watts per speaker.
Okay.
So, and I have an amplifier over here in this bag, and it puts out 90 watts per channel. So I never have to worry about blowing the speaker.
Oh, that's nice.
So
See, I blow a speaker.
I don't even have to worry about it. Especially the rear, because I've got these parallel. So 90 watts going into the rear is really only 45 watts to each of those speakers.
Oh, there you go.
So
That's nice. You want to turn it on so we can hear a little bit of it?
sure.
That would be nice.
Standing there alone, the ship is waiting, all systems are go. Are you sure? Control is not convinced, but the computer has the evidence. No need to.
That's about half the volume.
The countdown starts.
I can go down the freeway no problem, 80 miles an hour and hear this song.
Nothing is to chance.
Well, yeah.
All is right.
That is
Trying
absolutely
to
awesome.
relax. Up in the capsule, send me
So yeah, that's one of my, as far as major work done on the bike, that was my last three. I'm going to put some bigger jugs on it again, and I have some heads that they've been worked. They're considered they're illegal in California.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you can't go riding at home.
Well, I mean, you can ride it, you just can't get caught riding it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like anything else.
Right.
But they can't sell them in California because they're illegal. If you have them on your bike and you're going through California, they're not going to say anything.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, that'd be really hard to do anything about it. So tell me about the seat. I know that's not
Oh.
a stock seat.
Nope. This is a Mustang seat. Actually, I just had it recovered. I got this seat in 2011, and Mustang seats are not cheap.
No.
But this had the lowest profile, and I thought, well, I'm going to try it. I've had a bare bones seat before, and I had to buy a pillow on my trip.
Maybe turn the radio down a little bit.
I had to buy a pillow on my trip because my cheeks were sore. But I decided to try this one,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. Even though it's very low profile, there's not a lot of padding in it, just the cut of the seat, I guess.
Yeah.
I can put miles on this bike with that seat. No
How's it
problem.
going?
And like I said, I bought it in 2011. Finally, it's just this last March, I think it was, I went ahead and had it recovered because I was just getting worn out on the sides,
Yeah.
up in the front.
I bet the threads are pulling through on where it was stitched.
Yeah,
Which is what
but
it's supposed to go.
mostly it was just actually wearing through the leather.
Yeah.
So, but I had it done down here off Central. The guy did a really good job,
Looks nice.
and he was reasonable.
Definitely. Looks nice. Those backrests really help out a lot too.
Oh yeah, I would not have a seat now without like really without a backrest.
Without backrest. There we go. So I understand you had to lay your bike down once.
Yeah, I did. Not more than once, but the last time I had an accident, which was 2013, I was going up a local road here, and somebody pulled out, and they were heading in the opposite direction, and there were islands they had to go between, and so they ended up not even pulling between the islands, which would have given me plenty of room to get around them. They stopped right in the middle of the lane and sat there.
Just stay put.
And I didn't consider it an issue because I figured,
They'd move
well,
out.
this person obviously had a plan.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would they pull up there? But
They didn't execute.
there was no plan, or he didn't execute it, one or the other. And yeah, I had to lay it down before I got to him. And like I said, I expected that he had a plan, so I didn't take all that much initiative as far as the basic maneuvers, because I figured he was going to do what he was going to do.
Yeah.
But he didn't. And so I had to lay it down. Of course, I didn't think of basic maneuvers, but I also knew that when it was time not to go any further, I laid it down.
Right.
Which I ended up going over the front, but I didn't let go of the rear wheel brake until the bike was probably 30 to 45 degrees. So when I did let go and it went over, I just maybe rolled from here to that strip right there away. So it wasn't too bad. I had my leather jacket on, so
That
I got a little scar right up in here because there was a sharp rock or something in the asphalt, and it put a hole, just a hole maybe a 16th of an inch diameter through my leather jacket.
Come on.
And of course, you know, it was moving, so it actually scratched the arm right there. So, but that was it.
Well, that's
And of course, there were plenty of people behind me who saw everything. They couldn't get a license plate because the car was sideways, and then when it wasn't sideways, it was heading towards everyone. So they couldn't get a license number. But of course, everybody's like coming up, "Oh, are you okay? Don't move, yada, yada, yada." Yeah, all right.
fine. How's my bike?
And the cops came. They got me in the ambulance. I tried to talk about it, but they were pretty persistent. So
Yeah. So what happened with the bike then?
the bike, it was actually, had two of them. The other one was also an 06 Sportster, 1200. And it was rigged out like this, but not as deep. It was about half the rake as this one,
Yeah.
and not the fork tubes were not quite as long. These fork tubes are 12 inches over stock. The ones on the other bike were 8 inches over stock. So, but what happened was, of course, my windscreen was gone.
Right.
I also had hinge protection on it as far as the crash bar, and they were pretty angled up, so they were gone. And rear light assembly, which for a stock Sportster would be sitting out here about right in here on both sides, and on one side it was gone. It was totally trash.
So did the bike tumble? Or
Well, no, it just, I skid, and it was coming down, then I let go of the rear brake, which is when the bike will, once it gets free,
yeah.
it'll flip over. So I was down really low and going fairly slow by then, and I let go of the brake because I didn't want my legs to be underneath this. So I let go of the brake, the bike flipped, and I rolled. and it cost the insurance company $2,800.
Too bad.
No, actually, I rode it home from the impound lot where they took it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I just pulled off the rest of the windscreen. I had to straighten out one of my front brake lever. I had to straighten that out a little bit, and then I rode it home.
Wow.
So,
Very lucky.
yeah, it sat there a couple days.
So, explain what you mean by having it laid down.
All right, so the front end on this comes way forward. Okay.
Okay. Right.
Well, stock comes about right in here.
Right.
So this is considered between this distance here and stock is 14 degrees. And that's what the rake is on this. And then, like I said, I have 12 overs, 10 or 12 overs on the fork tubes, which gives it more distance.
Okay. So over 12 over.
Stock.
What's the over?
I don't know what the inches.
terminology.
Well, I know what the terminology is, but I don't know what the distance is for a stock
Oh, okay.
fork tube.
Gotcha.
But let's say
The
it's,
length.
let's say it, yes. So let's say it's 30 inches. So this
I
is
gotcha.
10 inches over, so it's 40 inches.
Okay. So we're talking about length.
Yeah.
So nice. That explains it. Awesome. Yeah. So is it harder to control then, or easier to maneuver?
It's learning, and because of the lengthening the actual footprint of the bike, going down the road straight is very straight, because there's the least distance there is between the wheels, the more you're going to get a little of this and a little of that. The longer the distance, it just doesn't, yeah, it doesn't really move so much faster. So, but now
turning
on
radius.
turns, you know, when you're in a sweeping curve on a road or whatever, no difference. Still, you know, the same. You turn just like you would on any other bike. When you get tighter, like I could turn in this parking lot with no cars here. With cars here, I'd have to make a turn, back it out,
Like
do a
a three-turn,
yeah,
three-point.
3-point turn. But it's a little different. I don't worry as much about the bike getting slow because I think people are afraid to even try to ride it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd be a little intimidated myself for
Yeah.
sure.
So
And that's just I think a common sense mindset, you know.
well, you know, it's not that hard to ride. You just have to learn to ride it.
Right.
People talk about, oh, that must be hard to ride. Well, no. You know, if they wanted to ride it, I wouldn't have too much of a problem. But I would have to watch them walk it around a little bit better so they understand. And I don't mean walk it, you know, with no winds or anything. I mean, put it in first gear, have their feet down, and kind of understand what the movements are of the bike. But
Well, and that would be the same as with anybody learning to ride the first time anyway. You take
well,
the rider's
first time.
course
And I mean, I went to Larry's because Larry's is one of the motorcycle shops locally here. Went to Larry's and said, hey, this is doing this and doing that. And he said, give me the keys. And he jumped on it and he left. So, I mean, you know, people that know how to ride wouldn't have as much.
Exactly. He's got years of experience.
And yeah, he's got years. Decades. He's got decades.
Decades. Right.
Straight.
Right.
So,
Well, that makes a lot of sense, though. Certainly. Awesome. Well, I'm not sure what else to ask about in regards to this monster. Have you named it?
no. Just, it's
just
my
your
baby. It's my baby.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, my son and I have plans to ride, and you're, of course, everybody knows that. You've got names for ours. Mine's going to be Sam for Sam Elliott. Gotta have those, the rumbles and sounds from the pipes. That's my thing. Gotta have that deep roar. And his is Jennifer.
Oh yeah.
That's his. So,
Learn something new every day.
yeah. So why don't we start it up and listen to?
But why don't you want your bike to be based on what you want, not on what you picture of somebody else?
Well, it's not really a picture of somebody else. It's the sound. It's the relationship with the voice. He's got a very unique sound to his voice. My bike will have a very unique sound to the voice. It's all about the sound. And when you hear Sam Elliott, everybody knows that's who it is. That's who's coming. That's who's talking. I want the same for my bike. That's the whole idea behind it.
I get it.
Right? So that's kind of the deal there. But, so let's hear yours.
Oh sure.
Yeah, let's start it up and listen to it. Because it's got a unique sound all of its own. You know when you're coming.
Yeah, pretty much.
Definitely. All Harleys have that little shimmy and shake, a little bit of a vibration.
Well, yeah, and the older they get, the more you're going to notice it, because I don't take this thing into the dealership anymore. They have, do all the roads and whatnot. I have a list of, what things should be tightened at what mileage, whatever.
So you do your own maintenance.
So yeah, I do all of my maintenance. But we all take shortcuts. So.
Right.
And that doesn't look loose, so just let it be. Yeah, but if you don't do that, things start falling off.
Things start falling off.
That's never good.
No.
Because it might be something you need.
Right.
And even if it's not something you need, it's something you're going to end up having to replace. So.
Right.
So that's never ever good.
But you feel the vibrations going down the road. You know you got a good decent motor under you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's how it works.
I
Well,
don't have any problems with this one. I never have.
that's a good deal. Well,
I've modified this thing. Like I said, with the seat, I've gone on 5,000-6,000 mile trips with this bike. I've gone in. It's been quite a few years now. Probably 11, 12 years ago. Went on a trip down to Lone Star Rally in Galveston with a friend of mine, and then from there we crossed down into Mexico. Went across Mexico to the Rocky Point Rally, which is the following weekend after the Lone Star Rally. So, and then just shot up through Arizona. That was quite a trip.
see, those are the things Cody and I are going to have to learn about and like to do.
You know what? Mexico is different. They don't have the engineering on their roads that we do.
Yeah.
So You might go into a banked turn in Mexico, but it's banked the wrong way. So you have to be careful when you're riding in Mexico. They have very narrow roads, and of course, as you know, just like with the rest of the world, as things got more populated, they got bigger trucks, huge trucks, and trucks that take up 1.5 lanes on a 2-lane road.
Right.
So, and you know, you could be riding down Copper Canyon and come around the turn and not even see and realize there's a truck there. And if you're going the wrong way on Copper Canyon, on that road in Copper Canyon, there's a sheer cliff on the side that you're being pushed to. So
I might have trouble with that.
yeah, that would be. Now you can ride in Mexico, and they have, you know, pretty standard, regular freeways, just like we have here. But all of those standard regular freeways are toll roads,
Okay.
so you're going to pay for it. You'll pay $400 or $500.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because the tolls are like every 20, 30 miles.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll go to Mexico.
And the tolls are at one point the tolls, of course they were in pesos, but during the time when we were there, it was $22,
Yeah.
and that was for 30 miles of toll.
Good grief.
Then I'm going to have to pay you. So because in Mexico, basically every state is its own entity with its own tax system, and the state controls roads. Not like we have federal government that controls roads here. The state controls roads. So you can go from one rich state, right, to a not rich state, and go from beautiful, smooth blacktop to nothing but potholes. And when I say potholes, I'm talking potholes this deep and this wide. And a lot of times it'll be here, and then one right next to it over here, and there's no way, you have to take the pothole to get across.
Yikes.
So that was one of my biggest fears when I was riding down to Mexico. I thought I was going to pop a tire. Because, I mean, I'm talking,
They were
ba-boom, down into a pothole.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go to Mexico then. I might not.
Didn't pop a tire, didn't bend anything.
That's good.
Also, when you're on a road here in the States,
Yeah.
and they just recently oil it, put on new gravel,
Uh-huh.
there's a sign that says fresh gravel.
Right.
Careful, whatever.
Right. Fresh oil.
Yeah.
fresh-
In Mexico,
Fresh tar.
there's gravel. No signs, no warnings. So you learn real quick that even if it's 45 kilometers an hour, you're doing 25. Because you may have to stop in about a heartbeat. And we learned that actually at the time, and this happened to us. So we had an issue with one of the trucks. Came around a turn, we didn't see him. It was all tree line. We didn't see him until we were right on him. And he left us about 4 foot. And we realized right then, hey, we need to slow down because things could get dangerous real quick. So we did. And we did probably within 10 to 15 kilometers up the road, hit a spot where they put down fresh gravel. Didn't tell anybody. And they do have, most of the time they have guardrails. But if you're going around a turn, you know, into that guardrail, it wouldn't be fun.
No.
So
No, I can imagine.
we dodged the bullet, but the only reason we dodged the bullet was because we started realizing that things were not the same in Mexico as they are in the States. So you gotta ride according to your surroundings. So,
Be very aware. Well, you have to be very aware of being a biker. Motorcyclist anyway, so
absolutely.
yeah.
It used to be, you know, the saying was, when you're riding, to expect the unexpected, but anymore I expect the unbelievable.
Unbelievable, right?
It's, people don't care.
Yeah. It's crazy.
They just don't care.
It's gotten worse nowadays, especially here in town. You know, every day you hear about something. Anyway, so I think we're gonna wrap this up because it's getting a little hot out here.
Yeah, it
You
is.
can go inside and get some air conditioning. So
Absolutely.
we're done with this one. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll see you later.